Hello friends, a very warm welcome to all of you on my course Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude. Friends, one of the most common question I must say which is asked every year is how to reduce corruption. Because corruption, as you know, is the biggest menace in our society, and the government and the people want the corruption to go down. And you will find a different type of format in asking this question, but almost every year this question is asked. So let me suggest some steps in this particular lecture. This is a brief about me. The question has been asked on this issue on 14 and 15. Now let us see what are the anti-corruption agencies which are already existing in India, and what are the acts which are already there in force. First is Prevention of Corruption Act, which is applicable for all state central government employees. Very tough act. Even if somebody takes rupees 1 bribe, he can be dismissed from the service, he can go to the jail. Such is the toughness of this act. Then you have a Right of Information Act, where people can ask any information. Now in order to monitor that, you have different agencies like CBI, CVC, Controller and Auditor General. Then every single department has a vigilance wing which also looks after the corruption angle. Then you have got Lokayukt, Lokpal and state vigilance in every state there. Then the high courts and the higher Supreme Court are also the agencies which monitor the corruption at every level. And then you have got all pervasive media, which is electronic media, print media, social media, where people can highlight the corruption act. And so we have already so many mechanisms to check the corruption, but still we find that the corruption is not reduced. And that is why the question will be asked, that despite having so many things, if the corruption is not reduced, what are the reasons and how we are going to basically remove the corruption. So let us now move further. First of all, the bare fact and the hard fact where we stand vis-a-vis other countries in respect of corruption. India is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. We are rated 76th position in the list of 168 countries in the list of Transparency International report of 2015. So you can see we are corrupt, more corrupt than 75 countries. Then corruption is widely associated with the government officers and the political leaders. Since you are aspiring to join the civil services, therefore it is important for you to know how you are going to tackle the issue of corruption. When you see the list of the most honest countries in the world, you find that almost all honest countries are also very prosperous countries. In the same way, if you see the list of most dishonest countries, these are the countries which are also the poorest countries of the world. So you can draw a conclusion, two types of conclusion. Either you can say that the corruption is leading to poverty, or you can say poverty is leading to corruption. Basically, the poverty and the corruption are connected with each other. Therefore, when you are going to talk about the steps to reduce corruption, the first thing you should know is that economic development is very necessary for removing corruption. Because there is not a single country in the world which is in the top of the honesty list, but actually a poor country. You have to have more development to tackle this menace of corruption in the long term. And because if the demand supply gap is there, then the corruption is difficult to tackle. You have to pay also good salaries to the employees. As someone has said that if you pay peanuts, you will get monkeys. So you have to pay good salaries, and for getting good salaries, you require a greater revenue, and for greater revenue, you require a big development in the country. And therefore, economic development is one of the must thing. We must constantly focus on the development if we want to remove corruption in the future. Other than that, what we can do? The next step we should do is that we should simplify the rules and procedures, because if the rules are simple, then the corruption is less. Instead of taking permission for everything which somebody want to do, whether to build a house, start a business, it is better that the intimation is given, so that if there is any infirmity in the intimation, then the action can be taken against the person. Another important thing is that you have to stop the generation of black money at every level. It's not that if you are going to deal the corruption directly for the government officers, it may be difficult, because if the black money or illegal thing is done by the other people, they are going to bribe. So you have to see that severe punishment is provided to anybody, whether it is income tax law, customs law, house law, anything. If somebody breaks the law, there should be severe punishment. If that is done, then you will find that gradually the black money generation will reduce, people will not do wrong things, and the corruption will reduce. Another important thing is that we should know that there should be a total transparency in the government functioning. I give you an example. In the earlier time, when there was a manual data to be entered, or there was a manual bill of entry or the import document to be fined, nobody knows at what price a particular item has been imported. So, because the duty is on the basis of the value of the item, suppose the value is reduced from 100 rupees to rupees 10, then you pay 10% of the duty, and government was losing a lot of money. But once all the data is put up online and everybody can see it, then there is no way that you can conceal the data, and naturally what happened that the corruption in the customs department went drastically down, because everything they are on the public domain. So transparency is a very important for removing corruption. Then there should be a tremendous accountability. See, today what happens that if you apply for anything and the decision is not taken for months together, there is no punishment to the government officer who is delaying the decision. There has to be a penalty, there has to be a time bound delivery to give the services to the public, and anybody who do not provide that service must be punished very severely. Another important thing is that if you even if somebody is caught red-handed taking money, then also the disciplinary action takes years and years to complete, and the person is since then working in the government department and doing the illegal things again and again. So the important thing is that you should expedite the disciplinary action so that everything is completed within a year and the person is checked out of the service at the earliest possible. But punishment is not sufficient. If you just only punish, then the people will stop doing work, because by not doing any work they are also avoiding punishment. So what is important is that you should give incentive to the government officers. So there should be performance linked pay, there should be financial reward for exceptional performance, people who are doing exceptional jobs should be given out of the promotions, and there should be awards and honor to sincere officer. So you have to use these positive methods also simultaneously along with the punishment if you want the government services to be performed at the international level. Then there should be public campaign. You see what happens today, that the public accept corruption as part of life. They don't raise their voice. They don't. It is so simple to punish the people. You have to just record the videos and submit it to the government agency, and the person will lose the job. But people are so scared of doing all that they are not taking proper action. So you have to increase public awareness, start public campaign, motivate the public to give the information to the government against the corrupt officer, and also give them some sort of reward so that you get information and you can take action. Another important thing which I find is the citizens' feedback. Whenever somebody comes from Tata Sky or any private agency, I usually get a phone call after some time, and they say, what is the quality of the service? Can you give the feedback? We give the feedback, and that they use. They also ask me whether any money has been demanded by the people. So that way, there should be an independent mechanism that any citizen who take the service, there should be an independent feedback taken, and so we will know that if somebody is getting harassed, and we can take the remedial action before it is too late. The government should be proactive. It should not happen that the person is only when taken action only when he is found engaged in corruption, when he is taking money and all that. The whole thing starts with the harassment. So at the level of harassment itself, at the level of first step itself, you should take feedback and start acting against them. Government should be proactive. They should lay a trap and arrest the fellow before he is causing a lot of damage to the organization. And his property should be confiscated. That's very important. And finally, I must say that the mother of all corruption is the electoral malpractices. This has to be reduced. There has to be some mechanism to fund the elections by different political parties, because the political parties are taking donations and illegal money from the unscrupulous businessmen and officers. They cannot be expected to follow the legal path. And so we have to stop this black money use in the elections, which is used for bribing the voters, giving them liquor, and spending a lot of money on the campaign. And so that I consider that this is also very, very important in removing corruption. So I hope that the lesson has been found to be useful to you, and if you can suggest these steps in your own words, I hope that you will get good marks. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much.